What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. It is Thursday. It's Thursday, April 4th. Holy cow. April is already getting into it, and it's already almost the end of this week. We got a lot to discuss in this video. In case you have been under a rock all morning, crypto is pumping. Crypto is going to the upside. And one of the bigger movers in the top 10 is a coin that we have talked about a lot on this channel. We've had some nice things to say. We've had some worrisome things to say. You guys, some of you love it. Some of you seem to hate it. But there has been fresh breath breathed into XRP. Now, is that legitimate life? Is that illegitimate life? Is this going to be the saving grace for XRP to potentially make a move still closer to $20? Or is this just nothing to be too concerned about? We're going to discuss that and a lot more. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you will. So stick around for the entire show. All of our subs, go ahead and smash that like button. You guys know the drill. Let's get more people in here. Comment in the chat. YouTube loves it. YouTube just loves nothing more than likes being smashed and comments being chatted. Then they send it to other people and people come in. It's going to be a great show. I am joined by my co-host, the amazing, the beautiful, the illustrious T of Shroom down there in Gainesville, Florida. T Shroom, how are you feeling today?
Well, Tim, I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm honestly better than I deserve. And a lot of people may not have figured that it was the opposite was the case. But no, in fact, I am better than I deserve. And I've got a quote here for us. What the world really needs is more love and less paperwork. Pearl Bailey bringing it to us, holding back 0% with this truth. Tim, how are you recovering from that smack to the face with this truth?
It's great truth. There's a lot of things in this world that I dislike, but paperwork is definitely up there on the list, especially in a world of digital happenings. You know, we're here in the world of crypto. If you're doing paperwork in crypto, what are you doing with your life? I say that as a guy who literally on my desk right now have a plethora of sticky notes because I love to have things visually in front of me so I don't have to just go check up notes. But paperwork is the worst. And I agree with it 100%. I think love is better than paperwork. If you disagree, put a 4 in chat. Why 4? Because it's a stupid number that nobody cares about. Same as paperwork.
Dang. Yeah. Doing my boy 4 like that. That's rough. What happened to CZ's 4?
Oh, that's true. That is the
Come on, Tim.
4 out there.
It's a trademark.
You do remind me of a good 4. That's like the one good 4 in the history of. What else in there is 4? Brett Favre? Are we talking about the guy with the most interceptions in the NFL and who cheated Missouri out of a bunch of tax-paying dollars? Let's not throw Brett Favre in there as a good number 4. Who else are we going to go with at this point? Nobody. 4 is a worthless number, except for when CZ uses it.
Whenever you yell 4, if you're playing golf.
See, that's a derogatory. 4, you're about to get wounded and hurt. So I'm yelling a bad number at you because this is a situation. That's a sucky situation. So they decided, all right, let's use a sucky number. Ahmed Al-Qadar said 4th of July. Well, here's the issue. Learn your history, Americans. The 4th of July isn't really the date we should be celebrating. I think it's actually like the 1st or 2nd when everything was actually signed. Really? So, yeah. That's a fake historic news. The 4th of July is not as significant as people want to think it is.
Huh. But I never would have guessed that.
That makes me sound un-American, though, if I say 4. All right, well, you know what, guys? I changed my mind. We will allow 4 to maintain its status as an okay number. Thank you, America, for independence, even though technically it didn't happen on the day, the 4th of July. Can we settle there, T-Shroom? Can we?
I think not only can we, I think we have to, because these markets are crazy and we need to get into them for sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead and check out what's happening coin market cap. Bitcoin up 3.8%. Now, here's the thing. We're going to take a look during the show at the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. It hasn't dropped to new lows this cycle yet, but every single day we see Ethereum dropping faster than Bitcoin. And now that we have a green day, we see Bitcoin moving up faster than Ethereum. Ethereum, start pulling your weight around here in this market. Start having some good green days and not so bad red days. Can you, please? Thank you. All right, Ethereum only up 1.5%. Meh. Still believe in it, just not a great day today. BNB having a fantastic day, up almost, 6.5, 7, almost 7% there. Solana hanging tight. It's had its moments in the sun. Today's not one of those days. Sometimes you sit on the bench and let the other kids play. That's just how the world works. in the world of sports, and in this case, Solana is the kid sitting on the bench today. XRP up 3.7%, not as much as it should be on some great news. We'll talk more about that here a little bit later. Dogecoin up as well, almost 4%. Cardano up 1.5% here in the last 24 hours. We'll talk about that one a little bit. I did make a trade call this morning in our trading group that is playing out beautifully. And to wrap up the top 10 here, Avalanche up 3.3% itself. Let's take a look at big gainers, big losers. Let's go ahead. Pendle. Pendle is the winner. I think you guys see it on the circle right behind me. Oh, well, you moved it now. Yeah, there's Pendle, 41% there.
There you go, Tim.
Market cap, measly.
You want to point to it?
There
you go.
You. Thank you, right there.
That was really good.
Thank you.
In fact, that was one of the better points that I've seen today, Tim. Great job.
I do try. Let's get back to CoinMarketCap. Orty, one of T-Shroom's, this is your favorite meme, or it was your favorite meme back in January, correct?
I wouldn't say it's not my favorite or unfavorite. It's one of two meme coins that I hold. Yeah.
It was a choice of T-Shroom. You're having a green day today, 13.66%. Bitcoin Cash continuing to have a little bit of a splash here. We actually we talked about Bitcoin Cash yesterday during our we call it Only Bros, our members only stream. You got to be a member to come in and join that. We actually talked about Bitcoin Cash yesterday, having itself a nice day. Mantle doing very, very well. Here, how about this one, guys? Chili's, a coin I have deserted, a coin I have given up on that it will be a massive moneymaker, but it's still kicking in the top 100, and today it's up 10%. Not saying go buy it because I don't have faith in Chili's long term, but I will say good for Chili's. I don't take pleasure in them not being a big mover anymore. I would love to see them succeed. I'm just not going to put any of my money into it. AGIX getting a nice bounce day, 7.6%. Let's take a look at big losers, though. There can't be a lot of them, can there? Because it's such a green and bullish day. There is some. Wormhole down 16% here in the last 24 hours. Now, T-Stream, you talked about this coin this morning, did you not? I think I noticed it was on the thumbnail.
Well, Tim, you're absolutely right. This morning, if you haven't gone and watched it yet, you got to, because I did a pretty in-depth video here on Wormhole asking the question, is it the new king? Is it the crypto that's headed to beat Atom and Polkadot, other interoperability chains? I feel like I did a pretty good job kind of opening the door to that question and to some extent giving a little bit of my own insight and opinion. The short of it is maybe. There's definitely some potential there, but there's some risks that you want to be aware about. And if you have already purchased Wormhole, you definitely want to go watch that video because I kind of exposed some of those risks. Not that they're risks that you would absolutely sell because of, but you want to be aware of for sure.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of one of the competitors you mentioned there, Polkadot, we're going to be having a Polkadot video coming out either later this week or early next week. Don't know when the launch date is, but I think Polkadot's going to be one that could. It's been kind of in the shadows recently. I think we can see Polkadot do some special things in this bull market. As a whole, though, other ones we have, Core down 15%. Now, Jupiter today is down 4.6%, up still in the last 7 days, 21%. I made a price prediction. We had a lot of you guys asking me for a price prediction for Jupiter. Well, your wish is my command. I made a price prediction video for the top of 2025. Go check it out after the live stream. The numbers might surprise you. And I think I did a good job in the video. I made it because I made it this morning. I like my new criteria of saying, hey, you have to take these 4 assumptions. So you'll get in there. There's 4 assumptions that you can agree with or disagree with. But if those things happen, that'll give a number. You can then change the numbers around and say, Tim, I disagree with that number. Let's insert this one. And now that changes the price prediction. You create your own price prediction is the point of the video. But go check that out a little bit later. As a whole, though, that's what we're going to kind of wrap up here. Let's take a look at some charts, though, with Bitcoin rallying. Now, Bitcoin flashed up here literally within the last hour, I think. Almost back up, not quite 70K, but definitely back up above 69K. We are cooling off. However, I think we're still bullish here. I think we are still bullish. I would not be surprised whatsoever to see a retouch back up above 70,000, back up maybe 70,500, back up towards an order block, back up here on the 4-hour take profit. Also, when you turn off the Lux Algo, and we'll talk more Lux Algo because it has been crushing it here. This is a little bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern that is attached to bullish price action. Is this a bull flag? Is it not? At the very least, we should, again, this should, in theory, you take out everything else and just do technical analysis, should be a break to the upside. I think there's too much sideways action right in here in February for me to really call this a bull pennant, right? What you could do, though, is say, all right, if this is the opening of this formation, and if we get a breakout to the upside, let's pretend the bulls just go berserk right here. This should, in theory, send the price of Bitcoin up to $88,000. On the other hand, if we break to the downside, if we end up breaking down, this would send the price of Bitcoin all the way down to $52,000, right below $53,000. Either way, keep an eye on that. But traditionally, symmetrical triangle patterns, when your moving price action is coming bullish into the formation, more often than not, let's call it 65, 70% of the time, it moves to the upside. It also could move the downside. But I actually put out a tweet here. Unshare my screen for a second because I don't know what else is going to be on here. You never know what with Twitter. I put out a tweet today. I'm interested in chat. If you guys did not talk about this, if you guys have not seen it already, in chat, go ahead and tell me what your thoughts are. Go back to my screen here, T-Shroom. You guys need to be following us on Twitter, by the way. We need to reference that way more often. T-Shroom and I are putting out some top-notch stuff over there on Twitter. You guys should be over there following us. I am Tims_TA. He is at T-Shroom. Nice and simple. Also follow the Investing Bros Twitter as well. I put out a thought here. I said, which price action for Bitcoin do you think is most likely? Right? A, big rally to new highs. B, sideways boring action. C, sell-off back to 48K. Comment your answers down below. Ultimately, this is what we're kind of looking at here. What is going to happen? If the symmetrical triangle pattern plays out like it normally does, probably A. We're looking at A. If it goes the opposite direction, we're looking at C. But I don't think there's as many people predicting B here. But in reality, that's a very realistic expectation that we could see a continual ping-ponging. And I'm going to use this new one. Instead of using a squiggly line, let's just keep doing this. A ping-ponging off of support and resistance, and we just kind of slowly make our way sideways here for a while before we decide, do we want to have a bigger cool-off? Do we want to go to the upside? We don't know which one just yet. Let's change this color to white because I was editing earlier, and that, there we go. White line there, nice and clean. This is a very realistic price expectation, ladies and gentlemen. Is it what I think definitely is going to happen? I'm not going to say definitely, but I think almost everybody right now is expecting a big move coming either to the upside or the downside, and few people are ready for the boring sideways price action. But in reality, that's kind of what we have seen happen, especially when you go ahead and compare to back in 2016. We've done this before, but let's do it again. We don't have to include the bearish price action. We can if you want to, but ultimately, check this out, guys. Right, weeks before halving, we rally here in 2016. We fall a little bit, trade sideways through the halving, and in this case, you did have a nice drop that quickly bounced back up. But don't have to have that. We could have it. But ultimately, the halving event that's supposed to be so bullish, in this case, went sideways. Even when you go and look at 2020, we rallied into the halving, right? And we didn't have a big cool-off, but check out the sideways action after halving. Why is this? Why could we see sideways action, even though from a fundamental perspective, from a supply and demand perspective, less supply coming in every single day should equal higher prices? No? Shouldn't it? Yeah. Well, here's the thing, guys. Just because the supply will get harder to get a hold of doesn't mean that the demand will match it. In fact, because so many people are bullish going into the halving, and because so many people are assuming that the halving should be bullish, you're going to see a lot of experienced traders do the exact opposite, selling off, taking profit, at least waiting for confirmation that the bears can't push it down any lower, if not waiting for potentially this 2016 move where you did take a nice 20% plunge post-halving. Then you have a very fast wick right back up, and the bull market takes off. We're not going to see new lows. That's not going to happen. Bitcoin is safe from new lows, but volatility, I think we're about to get ourselves a nice fat slice. But what's going to happen is it's not going to be predictable. It's going to be kind of boring and sideways. Let's go back to this chart. Boring and sideways price action before, I just did something horrible. What did I do? Why did I touch this line? Now I don't remember where it was. We're just going to leave it as is.
Are you on
I don't
PC or Apple?
I'm on a PC, my friend.
PC.
Piece of crap.
Bottom. Come on, Tim.
What?
Have a little respect. Have a little class for Bill Gates' invention. Go to the bottom left corner where it says Control, I believe, on your keyboard.
Yep.
And then hit that Control Z. Did it fix it?
Let's assume so. Let's say yes.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna keep moving on here. That is the Bitcoin TA. Let's check out a little bit more of our Lux Algo. Here's the thing, guys. Let's take a quick look at the 1 hour, 4 hour. Why was I so bullish this morning? I also put out a tweet this morning saying, guys, I feel like it's gonna be a bullish. It's a bullish day. I can feel it. I can feel the bullishness. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. It wasn't the feeling. It was the charts. I did fib a little bit on Twitter, and I apologize. I should be telling the truth 1,000% of the time. And it wasn't a feeling. It was the technicals. Of course, we're talking about price action back here. I made that tweet before 9 a.m., or at least I was thinking to do it. We're talking about price action back here towards 67. Take a look at what we have going on here on the charts. We, of course, were under a buy order that flashed this morning at 8 a.m. We also had take profit coming at the lowest end at 68K, high end up here towards 69.6. This is just the 1 hour chart. We had my very, very favorite technical analysis, which we have to address something going on here, but let's pretend we don't see that red reversal. We had my favorite technical analysis trigger for a long situation. We had our bullish reversal. We had our bullish momentum on the oscillator, and the money flow flew positive. Loved it. That is my signal. Get in a trade. Go in the long. Run it up to, if you're above, let's go back here. If you're already above the smart trail concept, run it up to a take profit or a red reversal cloud. If you're below it, I take it to the smart trail concept. I'll show you what I'm talking about on the 4 hour here in just a second. We are seeing the 1 hour saying, hey guys, we might be cooling off here for the next couple of hours. Why? We got two different red reversal indicators. We do have a big bearish momentum dot that flashed, and the money flow is technically moving a little sideways slash contemplating a significant downward move, right? So if you really want to get crazy with it and jiggy with it, you could probably enter a short there if you wanted to. But it's the 4 hour chart that makes me say, I don't know how much further that downward motion is going to take us. Why? Because the 4 hour is still sitting here extremely positive. We also had the buy order here on the 4 hour. We had take profit, as I already mentioned, with that order block all the way up here at 70,600. And guess what? Guess what's happening with the oscillator? Bullish reversal dot, bullish momentum. All I needed to see was money flow get back above that bearish threshold. That has happened. Even though the hourly chart might be saying, hey, a little bit of a cool off, 4 hour chart is saying we are still under some bullish momentum. And do not be surprised to see price action come up to that trifecta of confluence of resistance up here close to above $70,000. If you guys love what I just did, and you're like, man, that makes a lot of sense, I would love to trade like that. Guys, all of that was Lux Algo. Lux Algo is a phenomenal tool. Check out the link down below. You guys have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, you get a full refund. But you're going to like it because you're going to like making money in your trades. I talked about it earlier. Let's do this, and then we'll get into some news here. Cardano, one of our favorite coins here at Investing Bros. Eric Wallen's number one coin he recommends to every person out there. Not us. We don't give financial advice. Eric Wallen does. Ask him in chat about that financial advice. Same thing kind of happening here. I'm going to be a little quicker with this, but even though we see the reversal come in now in the 1 hour with the bearish momentum, same as Bitcoin, what I loved seeing here, again, we had the bullish reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow, buy signal coming out of Lux Algo, take profit, actually called this 59.8 pretty much just perfectly. But I come over here, even though it's cooling off on the 1 hour, I come to the 4 hour where that momentum is like literally within the last candle. We just broke above the bearish threshold, and we still have that smart trail concept coming in lower end around 60.9 cents. That, just in case you're wondering, I entered this earlier, but if you see a good entry because the hour cools us off, I would say that's my take profit on this trade. Could we run up higher to 63, potentially 64 cents? We absolutely could. I like to be conservative. You come over here, though, to our 12-hour. Take a look here. Why am I going with 60.9 cents? Well, 12-hour liquidations do show potential. You could see liquidity come down here at 56. Don't think that's going to happen, though. I think we see the removal of the rest of these short positions up barely above 60 cents. Then you potentially see a cool off after that. And again, we're talking about the next 12 hours kind of iffy, what we're talking about with this liquidation chart. Trade, though, responsibly. Trade however you think is best. And if you're looking for a platform to do so, check out Blofin, where everything is beautiful and everything is glorious. You guys can see my trade set up right there. I have my stop loss. I moved it up after big bullish movement. I have my take profit. I always use take profit and stop losses so that I don't risk too much money. You should as well. Check out Blofin and start trading today. T-Shroom. Let's go ahead and get into some conversations. The TA looks pretty, looks clean. We'll probably need to do some XRP TA in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's get into the topics of the day, the stories. What's going on today that people need to know about?
Well, absolutely. Well, the first thing I want to just point out is, Tim, leverage trading is a great way to make money in these markets. And we have links right here in there. It's our exchange partners in our links of this very video that you're watching here. You're jamming out on it. You're having a good time. You're thinking, how can I support the bros and make money leverage trading crypto? Look no further than these links right here. They're going to make it happen for you. Tim, we've actually got a little bit of disturbing news coming from Geopolitics. This is breaking. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says Ukraine will be a NATO member. And this is a strange thing to say in this time. Ukraine will become a member of NATO. Our purpose at the summit is to help build a bridge. Bridge to that membership, Blinken told reporters at Brussels. And there's more comments, but it really is not a very calming thing. It's not a very cathartic headline to read here. As we know, there's a lot of context that you need to know, I suppose, to understand the gravity of this. But just what is your reaction generally to this, Tim?
It's bad news. I mean, this is exactly what Putin asked to not happen.
Right.
So if there's anything that's going to set him off and cause him to become, pretty alienated towards the rest of the world, this is the move. I'm not going to get too far down the geopolitical route, though, because I don't profess to be a geopolitical whiz that knows everything about how the world should operate. I do know, I think it's within your best interest when a major country that has nuclear power is upset, you probably should come to a table and have some conversations with them before making any rash decisions. Again, maybe they've done that. Maybe they haven't. I'm not going to get too much further down that trail. I am ready for us to stop sending Ukraine money. That would be a plus in my mind. But my initial thought, T-Shirt, is this probably is not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it comes at a time where there's some other major geopolitical events taking place. The first of which is Janet Yellen arriving in China for a high-stakes economic meeting. Of course, this could result in great optimism for the world. We could see markets rally big if a major agreement is signed. This could also potentially be bearish for markets if there's some frigid messaging kind of coming from this. If there's some headlines that are signaling anything but an excellent relationship between the global hegemons. And then this brings us to our last headline here. Oil surges over $90. Stocks tumble after Israel puts embassies around the world on maximum alert. And in case you're wondering, you do have a spike here in oil prices and the 4-hour chart up to 90. Got a wick all the way up to...
Look at that breakout.
Yeah. So, not exactly what you want to see on your Thursday afternoon.
No, it's not.
Getting a little bit of turbulence here in the geopolitical headlines. But it doesn't stop there. We've got some more exciting news coming from Ripple. Ripple to launch U.S. dollar stablecoin, taking on a $150 billion market dominated by Tether and Circle. It's a real headline here from CNBC.com, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Tim, what are they doing here? They're releasing a stablecoin. I thought XRP already was one.
I say you already got the sound effect there. Yeah, I mean, this is the topic of conversation. Ultimately, no one should be surprised. I mean, XRP has already said that they're going to be heavily utilized, which is a reason to still be bullish on XRP. A reason why to think you shouldn't think XRP is going to zero. XRP is going to be utilized to build the CBDCs of the countries that end up having CBDCs. Fingers crossed, it never comes here to the U.S., but it's going to come worldwide, and XRP is going to be there, and they're going to build it, and it's going to cause the price of an XRP token to rise. We had this great story. We put it in the title. I will admit something to everybody right now, T-Shroom. We clickbaited you a little bit. I don't think that this news has any major consequences for XRP price whatsoever. It's not bearish, so let's not act like it's going to cause XRP price to become terrible. But if your thought is, man, now XRP going to work on a stable coin, cooking with grease, and new $20, $30 is back on the table. No, it's not. This is like someone who has the job to dig ditches and they're celebrating that they dug a ditch. I could have come up with a juicier story. That's how boring it is. This is like a ditch digger celebrating that he dug a ditch. That's your job. That's what you already told us you were going to. That's what you're being paid for. So XRP saying, we're going to make a stablecoin. It's like, that's what you said you were going to do like months ago. So good for doing your job. I'll continue to hold a portion of XRP to my expectation of somewhere in the, lower end $6, higher end $10 range. I still think we see a 10x coming for XRP, but this is not something that should make people go parabolically bullish about XRP. I'm sorry. I'm still, again, I say all this to say, I'm still bullish on XRP. I still think there's a 10x on the table. I think there's potentially a 15x on the table. XRP is going to make you money. Is it going to make life-changing money like 30, 40, 50x? No. At least not on this news. Let me see something else, and I'll change my opinion, but not this news. What do you think, T-Shroom?
Yeah, I mean, some other notable developments this year or last year in the stablecoin world was PayPal released a stablecoin. That was something that regulators they frowned at. You kind of got the impression, but there wasn't any action taken, I don't believe. I could be wrong about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe a little bit of an investigation. But, one of the big narratives that have been kind of bringing a lot of hopium to the XRP army has been the prospect of XRP, the organization behind it, Ripple Labs, having an IPO. Now, what I wonder is if their legal team has come to the conclusion that that is just not going to be possible given the regulatory climate here in the United States, and so this is their next best thing. I don't know that is the case, but I wonder if this is that move, right? It's like this was their plan B. If their legal team was like, nah, not going to work. Let's abort that whole concept of IPOing in the United States. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it hurts Ripple Labs. I think its effect on XRP, like you said, is kind of minimal. I suppose it's providing more value, right? That's what Ripple Labs, that's what XRP's army is going to probably make the argument that now this is providing more value to the crypto industry. There's a lot of stable coins already. I don't think that's a problem to release more. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I just don't see this as being all that bullish. It's kind of a neutral move. It's not really that great, but it's also not that bad. The only kind of reading under the undertone here is it's possible that this is instead of an IPO in the United States, which I would say would be bearish, right? But that's reading into it. We do not have confirmation at all that is what's going on here. So, yeah, that's kind of my thought, Tim.
Yeah, I'm putting a poll in chat for everyone to vote on. Tell me what you guys think the top of XRP is. We clearly have some people in here that agree with me and think that my analysis is actually pretty good. We have some people who are like, Tim, you're being way too bullish on XRP. And we have other people in here saying that I'm flooding the whole project and that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Come on, Tim.
Which could be true. Vote on it. Let's see what the community thinks. This doesn't mean anything, guys. We don't all get to vote. The Investing Bros community, unlike you might think, we actually don't get to decide the price of a token at any given time. I know that surprises me too. But we can give our opinions. Already 20 of you guys voted. It's looking like, we got some XRP bears in here. All right, you guys are being too harsh. Most of you are saying $3 tops. That's harsh. That is super harsh. I do not. This poll does not reflect the thoughts of Tim Warren. Does it reflect the thoughts of T-Shroom?
Not yet. I need to see more data.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to pull a Jerome Powell on this one and just say I need to follow the data. We don't feel comfortable yet as an organization making a decision quite yet.
Yeah. I think Eric Wallen just created like 35 accounts just to all vote $3. I think that's what's happening here.
I love it.
All right, let's move on though. That's enough XRP talk for today. I saw someone say earlier, we're not going to oblige to comment, but it did give me a small chuckle. He said, "How about we make a deal? No more talking about Cardano or XRP until either one of them hits $1." We're not gonna live that, and we're not gonna agree to it. But that was a funny comment, and you deserve an applause for funny comments. I can't remember who said it though. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on away from XRP.
Okay. Ethereum could avoid designation as a security with centralization risk easing, says none other than everybody's favorite Wall Street institution, JP Morgan. They do have some comments here, but they're essentially to that effect. The share of Lido is one of the details they're pointing out. In staked ETH has decreased further from around 1/3 a year ago to around quarter at the moment. And this is comes from an analyst that we've heard from quite some many times last year, and now Nicholas Panagritskolasguzgi, which you can't. How do you forget that name, right? J.P. Morgan notes that officials from the Securities and Exchange Commission, maybe you've heard of them, had acknowledged in the past that tokens on a sufficiently decentralized network were no longer securities, as there is no controlling group in the Howey test, in the Howey sense. We'll get to the Howey test here in just a second. But Tim, essentially, it seems like what's going on here is J.P. Morgan, is behind the scenes. They're seeing, the regulatory side as well as the private operations side, and they're maybe gesturing to some onlookers, some observers in the crypto world and in the Wall Street world, and they're kind of saying, hey, look, we have this big decision coming in May, and it looks like Vitalik through rainbow staking, I think it was kind of the name of the solution that they implemented. That has moved the needle in the right direction, and there is a chance that Ethereum could be decentralized enough by the time that decision is made in May. And if not, if it's still rejected, then perhaps the court case would be more favorable towards Ethereum Foundation and the other ETF applicants such as BlackRock, Grayscale, just to name a few, and that could be beneficial. So that's kind of what J.P. Morgan's saying here. And usually, when I hear Jamie Dimon open his mouth and mumble utterances that are usually incoherent, I usually take the opposite meaning, right? So if he says blue, I think he's meaning red, right? When I hear from Nicholas Panagritskos-Galuzgi, right, my conclusion is he's probably saying just facts, right? He's just saying things that he's observing, and it's something that Wall Street is probably taking seriously. Tim, are you taking this seriously? And do you want to be reminded of the Howey test? I'll pull it up here. We can get into it more in depth, but I kind of want to get your take.
I'll be honest with you. The details of this, I don't know exactly what's going on here. The Howey test is outdated, though. Let's just be very clear. If there's anything that has come to light that I think everyone should come to an agreement on, including the SEC and Gary Gensler and others, is that the Howey test was not built with the cognitive understanding of what DeFi could be and what crypto could be and what decentralized money could be, right? It was created for broken money, so it only applies to broken money. The truth is, there are cryptos out there that should be heavily regulated or / banned because of how evil this whole setup of them are. It's probably bad English. However they were set up, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm going to move on. There are cryptos out there that are bad. Shocker. But the punishment that Gary wants to give to some of the legitimate the money-solving issues by saying we should apply this to the Howey test is just wrong, and it's broken. There needs to become a brand new system. Crypto needs to be treated with the care that it deserves, the brand new aspect of what it is. It's something the world didn't even think was possible 100 years ago, back when we were creating Howey tests. How old is the actual Howey test? What is it? More than 100? Is it 100?
It's a
I'm going to Google.
Question, Tim. I could probably find. Yeah, so it was instilled in 1933. The Securities and Exchange Act.
Not quite 100 years.
Yeah, so it's been around, and if I'm correct in my recollection, I believe it was originally contrived to measure specifically an orange orchard, whether oranges were constituting a security, or was the shares in the company that owned the orange orchard, a security. So it was useful then for that type of analysis. But Tim, I think you make an excellent point. It's crypto and oranges, apples and oranges, right? This is not a fair comparison anymore.
No.
But the reality is that until there's a major liquidity event in Wall Street, they're still right from a market standpoint. What Wall Street says, what Washington, D.C. says in the form of the SEC, it's right in the sense that it's what matters. It's what the biggest buckets of money are going to trade based off of. And so when J.P. Morgan opens their mouth, we in the crypto community, we have the luxury of knowing that there's varied truths that come from its mouth, right? But when Wall Street reads anything from J.P. Morgan, of course they're wise as well. They kind of see through the lines. But when it comes to crypto, they're undereducated. So when they see this, right, they're thinking, oh, well, this could be pretty bullish. But in general, they're still taking the Howey test very seriously. So on this side of a major liquidity event, meaning that there hasn't really been one, and I'm talking about at the scale of 2008, on this side of that type of an event, the Howey test is still the law of the land. And for better or for worse, markets are going to trade based on assets relationship with that. So we'll see. My overall reaction to this is it's bullish, right? JP Morgan kind of nodding its head bullish, like this is could be big, this could be good, not really big. This could be good. And that may ultimately be reflected in late May. And right now, we're not feeling the heat of the Ethereum ETFs. There's a lot of other stuff going on. There's a lot of bullishness. Most folks are just kind of focused is, can Bitcoin get back to all-time highs? Can it start, moving out of this downtrend? It looks like we're starting to see, some positive signs of that today. But nobody's thinking about this spot Ethereum ETFs. We absolutely will be in early and mid, and certainly late May. That is going to be the biggest topic in the world of crypto for sure, in my opinion. There's a chance I could be wrong there. But any last thoughts here on Ethereum? We're ready to move on to BRC20.
Yeah, I'm addressing people in chat, even on the topic of Ethereum. Some people don't care about Ethereum whatsoever. They just don't like it. I really caution people. Listen, if you have fundamental long-term reasons to not like a coin, and I'm not just talking about Cardano or XRP, which of course is what chat's talking about here, because we brought that up and it is the poll. So I love the engagement, love the thoughts. But for the new people who are watching, and you're seeing people argue and say, "Oh, I'm getting out of this coin, I'm getting out of that coin until this coin does such and so, I'm refusing to touch it." Right? Every single coin goes through seasons like that. We had someone ask earlier, I think in chat, I think it might have been Eric Wallen, of course, Eric Wallen, a massive Cardano maxi. Loves it more than anything else in this world, in fact. He asked, can we do a comparison, a video on the comparison of how Bitcoin and Cardano price action moved back in 2020, 2021 during the bull market. And I'm telling you guys right now, was Cardano newer? Did people know less about it? Absolutely. I'm not expecting Cardano to make the same ridiculously crazy historic run that it made back in 2021. But there was boring, terrible, nothing price action that happened back in 2019 and 2020 with Cardano. There was absolutely reason to think this coin is kaput, it is dead, it is done. You can make that argument for a lot of coins out there, and some do end up dying. Some do end up not doing anything. But I urge you guys to not make boring price action the key decision maker in whether or not you invest in a coin for long term. And I'm telling you, Cardano's one of the coins that when you look at its history is the evidence of that claim. It has its seasons of super bearishness and super boring price action where nothing crazy is happening. And then the lights come on and the prices go crazy high. And people who were saying, I'm not going to invest in it until I see something happening, that goes against the concept of investing, guys. You buy when there's blood in the streets. You buy when no one else wants to buy. It's when everyone wants to buy that it's too late. So just want to do with that information what you will. And again, if you have any more questions, direct them to Eric Wallen because he's the expert on why Cardano is going to do well this bull market. T-shirt, and we can continue now.
Excellent. I generally agree with that take, Tim, for sure. But I do think that Eric Wallen has some valid points for sure as well. Activity is beginning to accelerate in the Bitcoin NFT space, says Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton, a pretty big financial institution that's thrown its hat in the crypto realms in several different ways. We saw them at Consensus 2023. They had a pretty big tent that was pretty sweet. They said this: multiple ordinals collections are starting to dominate the NFT market in terms of volume and market cap, the report added. So we'll be getting into ordinals and BRC20 and just kind of the development on the Bitcoin blockchain a lot more in the coming weeks. But for now, Franklin Templeton is kind of saying, hey, that train's a-rolling and you don't want to miss it. So we'll be doing a lot more reporting on that for sure. Another quick headline here: Cosmos-based Picasso network claims to enable first IBC Ethereum connection. So this could be kind of big. This essentially means that they were able to take assets on Ethereum and move it over to IBC and vice versa. So that could be very, very interesting if that's true. Of course, IBC being the inter-blockchain communication protocol, and this is kind of not the holy grail, but this is a pretty big step for interoperability. We'll keep moving here. Essentially, Ethereum layer 2 networks to hit 1 trillion in 6 years, says Van Eyck. So we're getting a lot of opinions from Wall Street today. Wall Street in a constant romance, a dance, if you will, with crypto, kind of looking into its eyes and saying, I know you're going to replace me, but how can I make money off of that? You do have this report here saying everything that's just in that headline, showing assumptions are 1 trillion market cap base case valuation for Ethereum layer 2s by 2030. So it's very big that just the layer 2s alone, think Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum, and others and Base could be valued to the tune of 1 trillion as soon as 2030. So that's pretty big, Tim. What do you think about it? Does it make you feel like you're under allocated to the layer 2s?
Yeah, I think so, especially the ones that aren't even necessarily fully taking form, the Bitcoin layer 2s. I still think we're going to see Ethereum layer 2s do well. I mean, Maddox, Optimisms, Arbitrums, and others, I mean, several others, I think they'll still do well. But I think, another conversation that people want us to talk a lot more about is the different ecosystems and the different genres of crypto. And I think that potentially, at least starting off the bull market, we already started the bull market. Starting off the second big leg of the bull market, I'm talking about later this summer when things I think will start going parabolic and melting faces. And we keep saying melt faces up to this point. If we repeat history, the melting of faces has not even begun to start.
Correct.
I think that we could see Bitcoin layer 2s be a very, very, very explosive market here in the next couple of months. So those are the ones that I'm looking at already and saying, how can I find the ones that are here? What are the ones that are coming out? One of the big ones I've been big on recently, and it's not been this last week. It seems like the moment we start talking about how great of a coin it is, it's not been doing much. Stacks, everybody, think of Stacks like Matic. How explosive was Matic? How amazing is Matic? Matic's doing all these different brand deals with large VCs, yada, 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 yada. Stacks might give Matic a run for its money. Like, I'm not predicting this just yet, but I would not be surprised if Stacks at points in this bull market potentially go with a higher market cap than even Matic. That's a crazy hot take. And again, a lot of things need to go right for that to happen, but it also would not surprise me. And with it having a much lower market cap currently, that means the gains are exponentially better than the gains from Matic. And I think Matic's going to have a great bull market.
Oh, yeah, that's quite I wouldn't say that's a prediction out and out, but it's quite an interesting kind of thought that could happen. I definitely need to be casting my view over to, what the development over on Bitcoin is looking at much more. And we're kind of taking steps here to get our resources in order to be able to do that a whole lot more. So definitely be staying tuned for a lot more on that with Tim.
I think, and as we kind of move away from that, because it sounds like we're transitioning, this is the rationale that flipped my brain and has made me so bullish on things like Stacks and others. Remember all of the billionaires, and I'm talking about multiple crypto billionaires who are Bitcoin maxis. They refuse to give a dime to the Ethereum ecosystem, to the Solana ecosystem, to Cardano ecosystem. If it's not Bitcoin, they don't want to touch it. And so their billions of dollars are going into nothing but Bitcoin. And then ordinals came out and they're like, okay, we'll accept ordinals. It actually helps the miners and keeps things going. We'll accept it. These are the same people that will be funding, promoting, and talking bullishly about Bitcoin layer 2s. So there's a massive, and I still think Bitcoin's going to do extremely well by itself, but there's a massive amount of money that never even thought about touching the rest of the crypto space until now that will be pouring into and advising people to pour into Bitcoin layer 2s. Just think on that. And that should tell you that you should be bullish on Bitcoin layer 2s, potentially more than any other type of crypto. We'll see how AI does in the second leg. AI had a great first leg. Let's see how it does in the second one. But Bitcoin layer 2s could be super special.
Yep. Lot of potential there for sure. And like I said, we're going to be covering that a whole lot more. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the factoid of the day. Today is brought to you by Decrypted.tax. You know them. We talk about them. You love them. If you're using them, you absolutely love them. Take the stress out of tax season. Tim, what is your quest in life right now?
I was going to say, what's going on with that quiz right there?
The factoid of the day is needing to be sent back to the elf, and he will be working on that. We may have a botched factoid, folks. Uh-oh. We may have to jump right into Q&A. Unfortunately,
we might have to do some Q&A. Oh, Zachary Martin's gonna cry, like I am crying. Yeah, that's pretty bad, man. The elf, he's really been dropping the ball here recently. I'm telling you what. Is he being paid? Because if so, it's too much. It's too much. Even if it's zero, it's too much at this point.
Yes. Do you want to know what the factoid was and what the answer was?
Yeah. Don't even show me the options. Just ask me the question. Let's see if, and then.
Sure. What do the Australians call slot machines, Tim?
All right, here we go, chat. Give me your most creative answer, and I will choose my favorite one. Let's just think of what Australians would call a slot machine. Slotties. That's an option right there.
That's good. I like that.
I don't know why, but I just came up with the bumbas. I don't know. Australians are kind of interesting. Let's go with bumbas, option B.
I like it.
DCA and Prey says slot machines. Wow.
That's good.
An original thought there, Australia.
They're just people, Tim. They're just people like you and me.
Just people. Yeah, but they come up with a lot of weird names for a lot of different things. My goodness. Melifo says Elf went demonic and started messing up again. Yeah. Zachary Martin says Steve Irwin's Slocks, according to Indie Halo.
Slocks. That's pretty good.
I like bumbos. I like. What's Bumbo. I thought I saw it slightly, but what is the correct answer? Let's get the correct answer.
The correct answer is pokies, Tim. See, a slot machine.
What does that have to do with anything? Pokies. Right? That's what I'm saying. It wasn't ridiculous by saying bumbas. It's not the craziest thing I've ever said. It's not the craziest guess I could have made.
Well, Tim, they call them fruit machines in British English, poker machines or pokies in Australian English and in New Zealand. It's a gambling machine that creates a game of chance for its customers. Of course, a lot of people compare the crypto markets to lotteries or gambling, but nobody in crypto that I've ever seen treats it like a casino at all. So, and certainly not pokies.
Pokies. Listen, I'll get on track with it because you know what that sounds a lot like? Hokies.
Hokies? Oh gosh.
We're primed for an amazing breakout year. Virginia Tech is back, people. And we're gonna melt some faces along with the crypto markets. Go Hokies.
You gotta love it, folks. We will have a stern talking with the elf. I don't know what's going on. I noticed some emotional issues with him the other day, and I probably need to go ahead and talk to him about it. So
listen, we will accountability. Accountability is top here at Investing Bros, and he's not being accountable to his job.
Absolutely. We'll be cracking the whip. We'll be having that hard conversation with him, but we'll be bringing some more great factoids here the rest of the week and next week.
Let's do this, guys. It's time to get into some Q&A. So go ahead and start dropping. We always say drop some coins. You guys want to do some TA? Do you guys want to ask us other random questions? We'll just take a look at some questions. I will say, again, with all of our members, the green names, definitely prioritizing, and the blue ones, of course, our mods as well. We will prioritize questions from our members. But if you guys have a good question about life in general, about crypto in general, other discussion you want us to have, if you have a chart you want us to look at, go ahead and drop that in here. Let's take a look. I said it before, and a lot of times I say we're going to do this, and then we don't end up doing it. So today I'm going to be a man of my word and say we're going to go take a look at what Ethereum over Bitcoin looks like currently. Let's go ahead and go over there. T-Shroom. Again, so not down to where the lowest we've been this cycle. Of course, we had these lows way back here that were at the same exact part we were back in June of 2022. We're back at that level. Again, we were lower here. We hit our low January 10th. You guys remember what happened January 10th? We had an ETF approved. That's really strange that the ETF approval caused Ethereum to outpace Bitcoin. Oh, well, it did. We're back down closer to those levels. And the truth is we probably could go a little bit lower here. Let's see what we have. Yeah, we're hitting the take profit. We're in the order block, but of course that order block's going to be there because that was the lower price action. Don't be surprised if we drop down to this lower level, hitting the yellow line once again, down towards 0.046. Let's see what the oscillators are saying here on this. A lot of bearish momentum here. The money flow started to go sideways, but it's not ready to go bullish just yet. So if you guys are thinking, man, ETH is probably about to take off, the charts aren't saying that. The charts are not screaming that it is absolutely definitely time for Ethereum to go crazy. Let's see what the 4 hour saying. Maybe the next couple of days, even the 4 hour, it's still heading the downside. That money flow is staying sideways. It's slightly up, but sideways at best. I don't think Ethereum's ready to go. I think we're going a little bit lower here on an ETH over Bitcoin. We'll see if we can find some sort of bounce. But right now, ETH not performing well at all. That will change later this summer. There's a lot of things that will change that. But for now, not performing well at all. All right, we got some questions in here. I saw one was not a TA question, but there are some other TA questions. Bituendo said, 1,000 likes. Would you ever shave your beard, Tim? There has to be something pretty special to shave my beard. Like, we're not talking about not 1,000 likes on a video. We could get 1,000 likes on a video easily if we really pushed and did everything we could. I think didn't I say 100K subs by the end of 2024? So 50K subs for me to shave my head live. 100K subs by the end of 2024. So you got a lot of time left. I mean, you still got like 8 months. 9 months because we just started the 4th month. But yeah, 100 subs, 100K subs by 2024, end of 2024. I will shave my beard.
You know, actually, you sent it to me, and I just found the picture the last time you shaved your beard.
Yeah.
Remember this? Remember this picture? I think you were still learning how to shave around that time. It's a little crazy. A little crazy. But yeah, there were some good comments here, good chatter. Gary C. said, I would like to know when the haircut is scheduled for, Tim. When is that haircut coming through?
I don't know. I probably this weekend. So I got a couple things I have to do this weekend. I need to mow the yard. We'll of course have our Saturday show, but I need to mow the yard. I need to get fitted for this guy's wedding that he made me become a groomsman. So then now I have to go get a suit.
Sounds like a weirdo.
So I need to get fitted for that. Yeah, that's the worst, really, when you think about it. And then I also need to do some biz dev work. And maybe I'll get a haircut. I am going to be a bachelor starting tomorrow for about a week. Taylor is going to be taking Brody and heading down to Florida for about 7 days or so to spend time with some family. So I'll be up here by myself, and I'll be able to get a lot of stuff done. Yeah. Hopefully by Monday I'll have shorter hair. Drew P says, Tim, thank you for the TA on Tia the other day. I'm up 98%. Why did I? This is one of the many problems of being a technical analysis influencer is sometimes you do the TA, but you're so busy getting it out to people, you don't take the own action. I didn't go in on my Tia.
Hashtag Trump coin. Am I right? Oof.
Yeah, when I called freaking Trump coin and then, okay. All right. I'm very glad for you though, Drew P. I'm very glad that you've made money. Guess where he was that he made that money, everybody. He's
Australia?
a member. He's playing with the Bumbas. That probably doesn't mean anything inappropriate, but it just sounds like it does.
Press on, Tim.
Moving
Press on.
He is a member, and he attached his YouTube membership over into Discord, and he gets to be on a trading group. Now, I do need to tell you guys something. We have news coming soon. We have ideas coming soon. You guys will not be able to access our trading group for much longer as a member of YouTube. Now, OGs will get to stay in. So if you're a member currently and you're part of our trading group, you will be grandfathered in as an OG into the future thing that is needed for our trading group. But we're gonna be upping the level of what you have to do to become a part of our trading group. We'll give those announcements sooner, but maybe you want to join the membership now, become an OG early. Yeah, but that's where Drew P got that advice. If you guys want to see more of that, become a member and go join a trading group. Let's see here. Get the beer, Tim. No, I don't drink beer. Do you guys really appreciate wet bread?
Tim, don't. Just don't. Spare us this once. Spare us this once, Tim. There's a pretty good question here, getting kind of swerving back into the alpha of it all. And of course, it was Zachary Martin. Zachary Martin, I feel like, brings so much value to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Zach, and being a bro. After you take total profits and cash, do you guys plan on shorting the market on the way down. Tim, you're going to be
meant
logging into Blofin and shorting the market on the way down in the bear market. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Probably not Bitcoin, honestly, guys. I'm not convinced that Bitcoin's going to have crazy explosive downward movement. I explained this a little bit yesterday. I think there's a chance that I think I explained this in the members only. So you guys are going to get a little nugget here for the members only. I think there's a decent chance that Bitcoin is treated as such a strong store of value that even when, like in the past, so the bear markets have kind of come into levels with bad economics and a lot of other things. Right. I think if something bad happens to the world, we had COVID in 2020 that crashed the price. I think that in the future, now that people know what they know about Bitcoin, we're still talking about positivity. I think if we have war, people are really afraid of war. Could that be bad for the price of Bitcoin? I think that's a plus to Bitcoin. I think people are going to be moving in bulk their money and wealth into Bitcoin as a store of value. And I think worst case scenario, Bitcoin has like a 50% retracement for the bear market. That's not the case for alts. Alts, which are utility tokens that are still going to be utilized more so during seasons of wealth and prosperity than they will be during seasons of questionability. I still think altcoins, majority of them will see 80 to 90% pullbacks. I think we'll see the signs. Am I going to be able to short the exact top? No, you're not really going to know for certain the bear market's settled until you've been in it for a couple of months. Same as, did people tell you to buy the bottom at 15.5? Yeah, people told you that. We know people here in this chat who bought the bottom at 15.5. Beautiful move. But if they're being honest, they bought a dip. They weren't 100% certain that was the bottom of the bear market. They hoped it was. They said, this is a good price to buy. I'm going to do it. But it really wasn't evident that the bottom was in until months later with Bitcoin price action. That's Ethereum or Bitcoin. I wasn't looking at Bitcoin's price. My point here is the bear market, the bull market being over will not be evident until months after the top is already in. So I will short crypto when there's confirmation that the top has been in, not trying to catch a shooting star and pinpoint the exact top and then hit a short.
Yeah. And look, so it's a good question. What I'm about to show you doesn't necessarily answer that question specifically, but another good topping indicator, right, is when Coinbase is in the top 10 or even number 1 app. Why? Because everybody and their grandma and their nephew and their employees and their boss are downloading Coinbase to get a little bit of that sweet moolah, right? They think they're going to get Coinbase and they're going to make a bunch of money. It's really you guys right now that are coming in at the beginning of the crypto market bull run that is really going to make some serious cash. At the very frothy tops, right? People are going to buy those tops. They're going to likely sell for a loss. So whenever you see coin, and we'll bring it to your attention for sure. There's like several Twitter accounts that I follow and get updates on that track Coinbase isn't even in. I don't even think it's on this list right yet. So it's not even in the top 100 right now. So we'll bring it to your attention. But when Coinbase gets up here, that's when you might start thinking, okay, maybe the top actually is in. So that's historically kind of what we've seen, and it makes a lot of sense psychologically. So yes, I also think I would probably be trying my hand at shorting the crypto markets to the downside once we get a confirmation. And one of the things I'll be looking for is absolutely Coinbase to be on this list.
Yeah. Now, here's a good question. This is really early to say this because we're in a bull market, but we're not even in the real big explosive part of the bull market yet. And then we're saying this, Bitcoin's at a new all-time high in the last couple of weeks, and we're still not really scratching what could happen in the future. But I want you guys to know, if you're wondering what happens to investing bros when crypto is in a bear market. Of course, we'll probably talk about shorting it as well. But did you guys notice the name of the channel is not the Crypto Bros? It's the Investing Bros. Do we plan on just not making money because we're in a bear market? Heck no. That was actually harder than I thought it was going to be.
That's what she said.
Thank you for that. Okay. No, heck no, we are not going to stop making money in the bear market. So if your thought is, man, we're going to ride with the Investing Bros up to the top of this bull market, we're going to take our bag, and then that's it. We got to wait until probably 2 years later when crypto's down again, then we can make money again. No, we're going to make money throughout this bear market, guys, because we're going to find the right investments. During this bull market, I'm going to be investing in real estate. I'm going to be finding some other trading situations, whether it be shorting certain markets, looking for markets that potentially rally during a season where everything else falls down. We are going to continue as your investing bros, because we are bros with you guys. We're going to find ways, no matter the season, no matter the economic climate, we're going to find ways to make some money. Believe you me. Yeah, stick around for the entire party.
I also think that this market, it could be different, right? When we get to fall 2025, we could start to see crypto adoption take off in a way that was a little bit unprecedented. There could be some major AI threats to the world and its stability that did not exist in previous bull markets, where blockchain is the solution to those issues that come about through AI. Guys, there's a lot of threats that are constantly on the door of major nations that could affect its citizens. AI is an unprecedented technology, similar to the result of the Manhattan Project, nuclear bombs, right? So there's also a great future through AI that will come about. I hope and pray. I'm very optimistic about, but there's some dystopic potential, right? That blockchain does solve, because it is a arbiter of truth. It doesn't care if an AI made it, or I'm sorry, it doesn't. It cares if an AI made it or if a human made a data point. It cares about truth, right? That is ultimately what Bitcoin is bringing us. It's a trustless system. So there is a chance that we actually get to a point where adoption accelerates at a rate that was unprecedented through some of the trajectories of the singularity. If you don't know what that means, you can check it out in some further reading. But we could be sitting in a totally different market that isn't just beholden to the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin's having mechanics. And then there's also a good chance that it is exactly what everybody predicted, and the 4-year cycle's mostly intact. So that's also a big possibility as well. And we don't, we're still on track for a $1.5 million Bitcoin in 2030, but we go through a very long and lonely bear market, of which I will most likely be looking into stocks, U.S. stocks, and commodities, maybe forex trading. A lot of different stuff we'll be investing in.
Cool.
So.
Cool beans. We have some questions here. Ian McGill, we talked about XRP and this news earlier. So I think you're joining in here late. Thank you for being here. Scroll back a little bit. We had our XRP discussion before, so I'm not gonna answer and rehash that again. Let's go to Bituendo, who said, question, do you guys think the Bitcoin halving could already be priced in? Did the bull run could have started earlier this time? Could the bull run have started earlier this time? Let's answer that question. We've answered this before, but let's do it again. I'm going to answer it for Bituendo, for other people. We're going to keep answering it for you guys, because I think there's a question that people are going to keep asking until we're probably a couple months past. Let's go to my screen here, T-Shroom. We're on Bitcoin's weekly chart, but I'm scrolled way, 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 way back. We're talking about the first halving. Why is it the first halving in November of 12? Because it was created in like end of 2008, 2009-ish area. This is the first halving ever. One halving happened in 2012, 2016, 2020, and now the fourth halving ever is going to be here in 2024. Now, there's differences between the three previous ones, and to be fair, I am expecting this one will have slightly different price action than the other three. But there's one thing that all three of the previous halving events have had in common. What is that thing? Price action, whether it's bullish or bearish going in. We've had two halving events that price was bullish going into it. We've had one that price action actually got a little bearish cutting into it in the weeks ahead. Let's go back all the way to 2012. Let's take a look at what it did. Now, this is the weekly chart, so it's not a lot of candles, but I want you guys to see what happened. Now, we moved bullish into the actual halving event, but notice what happened post-halving. Yes, we had one more bullish candle here, and then price went sideways for 4 weeks, right? Bullish into it, but sideways below that run's top that had made back a couple months before the halving, sideways price action. A couple of weeks of sideways price action. Let's go to 2016. This is the one where we actually moved bearish into the bull market, into the halving event, right? We rallied a month before or so, but the month before, the couple of weeks before, we actually started to drop. And in this one, we moved sideways after that drop, sideways into the halving. went sideways for about another week or so. And I'm saying sideways because we still are hovering in similar situations we've been in the month before. Had one candle wick all the way down, but then what? Jumped back up sideways within the range of price action it had been in the weeks prior. Traded sideways for a couple of weeks, and then the bull market takes off, right? So different than 2012, but still post-halving sideways. Let's go to 2020. We rally into the halving event, and then what? Next 2 months, sideways price action. So the question here being asked is, do we think that the halving event is already priced in? And I'm going to make a statement here, guys, that I think, again, if history repeats itself, best case scenario, the price is going to move sideways. Technically, best case scenario is we just pump to $1 million. Let's go $1 billion. Let's go $1 billion per coin. That's best case scenario. But if we're going to go best case realistic expectation, we're talking about probably a sideways where maybe we lean towards the top and maybe we keep flirting with $73,000, $74,000 for the next couple of weeks after the halving. But more realistically, again, we're probably talking about coming even down and seeing ranges touch back towards 60K. I've told you guys before, there are signs that 55 and 48 could be in play. 60K does seem to be a very, very strong level of support. I think there's a realistic chance that we just trade sideways between 70 and 60K for the next couple of weeks, maybe into June, right? But then June should get pretty explosive. Whether the price action cools off to 48 in the process and then shoots back up, or whether we just stay between 60 and 70, I think June is when Bitcoin begins to take a nice run to the upside. And I'm talking about 85, 90, 100K potentially, all before the end of the summer in August. That should kick off, though, in June historically. So is the price action baked in? To a certain extent, I think yes. Everyone is so keen and bullish about this halving event. And the truth is, the reason why they are is because it's fundamentally extremely bullish to the supply shock of Bitcoin. But sometimes you got to be a little patient. Those who think the moment it happens, that should be the bullish catalyst that sends us to new all-time highs in 100K, you're fooling yourself. It's not going to happen that way. There will be the counter argument that makes the price be suppressed at best, again, between 60 to 70, but potentially a move back down towards 55 and even 48 still in play based off of historical price action.
Yeah, I like it, Tim. I think we do need to draw to an end here. I actually have a meeting with Decrypted.tax. This is not a joke. This is real. And it started 9 minutes ago, and so I'm late, and I feel bad. And
for a very important date?
Indeed. Okay. I'm late.
Last question.
I'm late.
Last question we have here, and we're going to get out. We're going to have a show again tomorrow, so you guys can come back and ask more questions. Love all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. B-Ball Golf 72 says, Tim, you've been huge on Link Train. You're going to short Link too?
Come on, Tim.
Again, what is Link's bullishness? Link's bullishness is pairing with Swift and financial transactions around the globe. If there's an economic problem, what's going to slow down? Financial distribution around the world. So Chainlink, yes, theoretically speaking, should have itself a decent little bear market because there will be less money transfers happening. Its utility will slow down, and therefore the price action should slow down and should have a nice little sell-off. It'll have a nice bull market the time after that, but I don't expect it to be like Bitcoin that stays a little more stable. That's the question there. We'll dive more into Link in the future. I'm very, very big on Link and a lot of things being built in partnership with Link. But that's what we have for today's video. Smash a like, hit subscribe. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Adios. Go Bombas.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.